Your perfect plotter printer isn't the most expensive one. It's the one that matches your paper size, ink system, and daily workflow without wasting time or ink. Today, I'm ranking 7 of the most popular plotter and pro wide format printers, and by the end, you'll know exactly which one fits your work and which ones look great on paper but can quietly slow you down. Number 7. HP DesignJet T630. The HP is a compact 24-inch large format printer that's clearly built for basic CAD lines, quick posters, and everyday office plotting without taking over your room. It handles both sheet and roll media, including rolls from 11 to 24 inches, and it includes an automatic horizontal cutter, which is a small detail that ends up feeling like a big quality of life upgrade. In my use, the standout is how fast it gets a simple drawing out the door. HP rates it at about 45 seconds per DA1 page in fast mode, and that's basically the experience when you're pushing clean line drawings. It also supports common get-out-of-my-way workflows like HP Click and the HP Smart app, so you can send jobs quickly without turning printing into a mini project. Print quality is respectable for what it's aimed at, with up to 2400 by 1200 optimized DPI, and the ink setup is a practical mix. Dye-based cyan magenta yellow plus a pigment-based black. In real terms, that means your black text and lines look more confident than you'd expect at this tier, while color fills look good enough for internal posters and presentations. But here's where I have to be a bit critical. The T630 feels best only when you keep expectations tightly aligned with CAD, plans, and basic color graphics. Once you start trying to treat it like a creative print machine, heavy photo work, deep gradients, gallery output, it quickly shows you that it's not built for that mission, even if the resolution number looks impressive. And while the connectivity is modern, Gigabit Ethernet, USB 2.0, Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi Direct, the overall experience still leans entry-level plotter, not premium workstation. If your workflow is simple and predictable, it's a smart buy, but if your days are chaotic with mixed media and high expectations, you'll outgrow it faster than you think. Number 6. Epson SureColor T3170. The Epson is a 24-inch desktop wide format printer aimed at architects, engineers, and anyone printing plans, blueprints, line drawings, and posters up to 24 inches wide. It supports both roll printing and an auto sheet feeder that takes sheets up to 11-inch by 17-inch, which makes it feel flexible in an office where people print random sizes all day. What I noticed immediately is how office-friendly it feels. There's a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen that makes basic tasks feel less like you're operating industrial machinery. Epson also advertises an A1D print in 34 seconds, and for straightforward drawings, it genuinely feels quick and responsive. Ink-wise, it uses Ultrachrome XD2 archival pigment inks, and that shows up in crisp lines and durability, especially when you're handling prints a lot on site or in client meetings. Epson positions it as capable of sharp detail up to 2400 DPI, and in my day-to-day plotting, small annotations stayed legible without that fuzzy, cheap printer edge. Now the downside, while it's excellent for technical output, it's still a specialized tool, and you can feel that if you try to push it into creative production mode. Posters look good, but if your income depends on premium color nuance, or you want a photo printer vibe with rich gloss and gallery blacks, this isn't the right ink set or paper path for that kind of expectation. Also, like many business printers, it's designed to work exclusively with Epson cartridges, which is great for consistency, but it's not ideal if you're the type who wants maximum flexibility with supplies. If you mainly print plans and construction sets, it's a strong, practical machine, but it's not the most exciting pick on this list. 5. Epson SureColor P900. The SureColor is where the list starts shifting from plotter first to print quality first, because it's a 17-inch photo printer built for exhibition-style output. It uses 10 Ultrachrome Pro 10 inks, and when you print color gradients or deep shadows, you can see that extra ink complexity doing real work. In practice, the detail is excellent. Epson lists a maximum print resolution of 5760 by 1440 DPI, and that shows up most when you print textures, fabric, skin, fine architecture shots, or product photos. It also supports borderless prints up to 17 by 22 inches, which is exactly the kind of size that makes a print feel gallery-ready instead of desktop. One of my favorite things about using it is that it feels like a pro device without feeling like a lab instrument. The 4.3-inch color touchscreen makes it easy to check status and settings, and connectivity includes USB, Ethernet, and Wi-Fi, so it drops into both studio and home workflows. For black and white, it's surprisingly satisfying, especially because it has dedicated channels for matte black and photo black, so you're not constantly switching and waiting. And Epson's carbon black mode is specifically aimed at improving black density on glossy and metallic glossy media, which is the kind of feature you only appreciate once you've seen grayish blacks ruin an otherwise perfect print. The main reality check is that it's not a CAD plotter replacement, it's a creative print machine that happens to be wide. If you're mostly printing line drawings and want cheap, fast plans all day, it's not the best match. But if you care about finished output that clients will frame, it starts to make a lot of sense. Number 4. Canon imagePROGRAF Pro 1100. The Canon Image is a 17-inch Pro A2 class printer that feels like Canon looked at the studio market and decided to get very serious. It uses a 12-ink setup, including Chroma Optimizer, and Canon rates it up to 22,400 by 1200 dpi, which is a sweet spot for high-end photo and fine art printing. When I ran glossy and semi-gloss prints, what stood out wasn't just color, it was surface consistency. The Chroma Optimizer in the ink set is designed to help with gloss uniformity, and while it's not magic, it does help prints look more premium under real lighting instead of only looking good straight on. Speed is also respectable for the class. Canon lists an A2 color print around 3 minutes 40 seconds, and in a real workflow, it doesn't feel painfully slow the way some high-end printers can. More importantly, it feels consistent, like you can start a print job and not worry that the printer is going to surprise you with weird banding halfway through. It's also a printer that encourages you to print finals, not drafts. The overall positioning is clearly for professional photography, fine art, gallery printing up to 17-inch by 22-inch, and serious black and white work. And that focus comes through in the way it handles tones and deep shadows. The only reason it's not higher is simple. It's brilliant, but it's specialized. If your world is mostly CAD sheets and roll plotting, you're paying for capabilities you won't fully use. But if your deliverable is the print itself, the Pro 1100 starts feeling like a long-term studio investment. 3. Canon imagePROGRAF Pro 1000. The Canon imagePRO 1000 is still one of the most loved 17-inch Pro photo printers because it delivers that Canon look with real depth and control. It's a 12-ink system, including Chroma Optimizer, and is rated up to 2400 by 1200 dpi, which puts it firmly in the professional output category. In hands-on use, this printer shines when you print images that have difficult transitions, fog, skin tones, dark blue hour skies, and product shots with subtle highlights. It doesn't just slam saturation, it holds detail in a way that feels intentional, like the printer is respecting your edits rather than rewriting them. Canon also lists A2 color printing around 3 minutes 35 seconds, and that performance makes it feel usable for small batches without turning your studio into a waiting room. The control panel is a 3.0-inch LCD, and while it's not giant, it's enough to stay in control without constantly running back to your computer. Where it really earns number 3 is consistency across prints. If you're doing client work, selling prints, or building a portfolio series where every piece needs to match, this printer feels stable and predictable, which is honestly half the battle in real-world printing. It's not a roll plotter workhorse, and it's not the cheapest way to print large CAD sets, but for premium photo output up to 17 inches wide, it's a classic for a reason. Number 2. Canon Pro 2100. The Canon Pro 2100 is a different beast. A 24-inch, 12-color large format printer built for professional image quality at larger sizes with the workflow power to match. Canon specs it at 2400 by 1200 dpi and includes serious hardware features like 3 GB of memory and a 500 GB hard drive, which is the kind of thing you actually feel when jobs get heavy. When I used it for larger prints, posters, photography, and display graphics, the biggest advantage was momentum. You're not babying it. You load roll media, you queue work, and the printer behaves like it expects to be used all day, not just for occasional special prints. Speed is strong too. Canon's spec sheet shows A1 print times as fast as 0058 in fast mode on plain paper, which makes it viable for production environments, not just studios. And because it's a 24-inch machine, it hits a sweet spot where prints feel big and impressive without requiring the floor space of the bigger 36-inch monsters. Another reason it ranks so high is versatility. It's happy doing technical style work when needed, but it's also designed to exceed expectations for image quality and color consistency, which is why it's popular in places where presentation quality actually matters. The only thing you need to be honest about is ownership. This is not a casual printer. It's a commitment in size, consumables, and intent. But if your workload justifies it, the Pro 2100 feels like a professional engine that won't tap out when the deadlines pile up. 1. HP DesignJet T650. The HP T650 at 36 inches is my #1 pick because it hits the most practical intersection. True plotter productivity, wide format convenience, and the kind of speed that changes your day. HP lists print resolution up to 2400 by 1200 optimized DPI, and for CAD, GIS, and general wide format output, it delivers clean lines and confident color. In real use, what makes it special is how quickly it clears your queue. HP rates it at 25 seconds per A1 page and up to 82 A1 prints per hour. And that kind of throughput is exactly what small offices and busy teams feel immediately. When you're printing plan sets, revisions, or presentation boards, speed isn't a luxury. It's the difference between calm and chaos. Connectivity also matches modern workflows. Gigabit Ethernet, USB 2.0, Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi Direct are built in, so you can print from wherever the work happens instead of building your day around the printer. And unlike some wide format setups that feel fragile, this one feels like it was designed to be used constantly without drama. The reason I rank it above the smaller T210 is that the T650 feels like it scales with you. The 36-inch width opens the door to bigger site plans, larger boards, and more flexibility with media layouts, so you waste less paper and spend less time reformatting just to fit the printer. If you want one wide format machine that's genuinely built for productivity, and you want it wide enough that you won't regret the purchase 6 months later, the DesignJet T650 is the one I'd choose. It's not trying to be a gallery photo printer, and it doesn't need to, because as a plotter printer that actually keeps up with real work, it nails the job.